What's up, everybody? Benja Welldone coming at you live on this very beautiful Friday, February the 16th at 5:50 in the morning. How are you doing? So, devising a plan. Do you know how hard it is to try to describe something without letting on, like, what you're talking about? You know? Well, that's what I'm going to try. So let's see how it goes. A few weeks ago, I thought about a plan to start another company and have it be extremely successful, and in the process blow myself up as a stand-up comedian. And it in turn, it really does help my merchandise. But anyway, I'm on my way to wrestling right now. Why do I go to wrestling? So I can learn how not to get thrown on the ground and attacked by someone, but also hopefully to prevent that, and even the best case scenario, how to put someone else on the ground so that I can actually use my jiu-jitsu that I trained for. And it's helping exponentially. But anyway, so I thought about this plan a few weeks ago to really blow myself up on in my company and really just get known as a stand-up comedian, because I realized there was a certain point to where it doesn't matter how good I am, I have to really just get known. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that might have millions of followers on Instagram, and if they were to pay somebody hypothetically to write jokes for them, they could sell out comedy clubs all across the country, internationally, whatever. So I have to do things in the reverse order, and I'm okay with that, but I have to find a way to grow, to blow up, because unfortunately, just going to open mics and comedy clubs and stuff like that, even the very great Joe Rogan, nobody knew that he was doing comedy for like 5-10 years or whatever it was, even when he was on Fear Factor, right? And when he hosted Fear Factor, it was already like a multiple year running national show. All right, and nobody had a clue that he was a stand-up comedian, even then. Not until he basically got to the UFC and they had a lot more limelight on him did everyone learn that he actually does stand-up comedy. Why? Because he would coordinate his stand-up comedy shows with his the dates that he would be doing comedy, which was brilliant. And not even that. It took the UFC to be successful. It had been unsuccessful for basically many years. While Joe Rogan was still working there, right? Until he actually blew up. So I had to think of a plan. And I have a really, really strong subconscious. And what I do is I dwell upon the problem consciously. And then subconsciously, I basically don't think about it directly. And then indirectly, it could be a day, it could be 5 days, it could be 20 days. The answer always seems to come to me. Well, I've been thinking about this for like a couple months, and then finally it came to me. But continuously drilling and thinking about the problem, and then letting my subconscious relax and just find the answer. So I found the answer, and I'm excited about it. And it's big. I mean, it's big. And I really wish I could describe it so that you could be like, oh my gosh, that is a great idea. It's brilliant. It'll work. I wish I thought about that. That's the kind of ideas that you have to think of to be original. You have to think of an idea to where someone else says, I wish I thought about that. And my subconscious, it feels like my hair's kind of going a little crazy, is not being weird, but it's so strong that anything that I do, if it's worth doing, it may take a process for me to actually get to where I want to be in my thoughts, to have it be like an original idea. I do that with jiu-jitsu. I do that with everything, right? Because I'm a big believer that the only way to get higher results is to think on a higher platform, to stop doing everything. They had this weird sociology test where they had 5 different lines in like a grocery store, and it sounds crazy. Oh no, it wasn't a grocery store. It was like a theater or something like that, right? And they all got their tickets, and then there's popcorn, all these different lines and stuff. And there's 5 different checkouts and 2 different people standing at the registers, right? No, yeah, there's anyway, the point is there's registers, like 5 or 6 registers, whatever. Everybody is lined up as far as people behind the register, but everybody for some reason only goes into one line. So in a weird way, society, whenever someone would enter into this place, and it was just an experiment, they would see that everybody else, seeing that there was no one in the other lines, thought that it was something wrong, and it was easier for them to fall into place, so to speak, and get behind the longer line compared to 4 people that were just standing there doing nothing. They could have taken their order, or whatever, as opposed to just going behind the next person. So the point is that if you do that with your thoughts, if you start to think different, you're going to get different results, but it has to be higher, better results. Don't just think differently and get an equal or lesser result. It has to be better. Otherwise, it's no point to really like doing it in the first place. So anyway, I'm really excited to bring up something. Man, I can't wait to bring it up. But for what it's worth, I'm working on something really big. Man, I really just want to give like a hint, but it's something so big that you will imagine the ability of being able to go viral every single time you do a post on Instagram or Facebook. It's pretty incredible. You'd have to think about it, and I did. So until next time, guys, we'll see what happens. Later, guys. Have a good day. Peace.